Alrighty, it is your favorite auditor, Audit Them, the one who encourages you to audit them. We're going to be doing a review, another reading. Make sure you hit the thumb up upon entry. This one is going to be the 2D AMJUR, American Jurisprudence. And let's make sure the audio is on here. Testing.
Another reading.
Beautiful,
Make sure you hit
beautiful,
the thumb
beautiful.
up.
Yep.
This one is going to be the 2D AMJUR, American Jurisprudence. And
Alrighty, SCP-4494. Hello there. Alrighty, let's begin here. Hey Claudette, how's it going? We're looking at the hardcover AMJUR. We got the document viewer, so let's get right to it. Here we're going to be looking at the special or local assessments. Right at the, let's see here. Hang tight with me, guys. Make sure you hit the thumb up. I'll be right back. Alrighty, got a few people in here. Let's wait for a few more people to get in here. So yes, what we're looking at here is we're going to be looking at special or local assessments. That's going to be on 1115. Alrighty, page 1115. So let's scroll right to it. Alrighty. Social Security and Medicare. 1115. Alrighty, special assessments. Well, special or local assessments. So this begins here saying the let's see, let me figure out if I'm going to read for you guys off of the book or the screen. So let's see, I'll focus on the book here. The article discusses the use, you know what, here, let me lower the screen right here and put this one as so. Alrighty, go like that and go like that. Beautiful. So this article discusses the use of special or local assessment as means to public nature from the owners. Well, what we're looking at here is we're gonna do a quick synopsis first. Alrighty, let's see what we got here on all these pages. So let me open up the screen here. It takes some figuring out to do when you got the document viewer here and you're reading off a hardcover. The lighting, yeah, let me put a lighting here too. Or just go like this, yep. There we go. Alrighty. So the scope of the topic, the federal aspects, we got the treated, well, you know what? Here. Special or local assessments. Power to assess validity and assessments. Let's see. Okay. Let's see what we have here. So here we have number one, general power to assess validity of assessments, benefits, general improvements constituting benefits for which assessment may be levied. What's this? Assemble and exempt property, or accessible and exempt property. Governmental and public property, property of educational institution, property of charitable and religious institution. So these are under the exemptions. Cemetery property, railroad property. Alrighty. So then we have here charges and items which assessment may occur. Charges and items where assessment may occur. Appointment of assessment. Hey Miguel, how's it going? Appointment, or I'm sorry, appropriation, apportionment, assessment, improvement of assessment. Let me do a disclaimer here. This is not legal advice. Do more reading at home. Proceedings to establish districts and to authorize and make assessments, right? In general, petition by property owners. Let's see what we got here. C, under action by government officials or bodies. Section D, reassessment or new or additional assessment. Section E is notice, opportunity to protest, and hearing. Section F is a review, confirmation, or setting aside. Alrighty. What we got here is liability of property, lien, overview properties, enforcement of assessment or lien. Right here, right? So let me straighten the camera out for you guys. Beautiful. In general, against owner, personally, against property, defenses, practice, sale, restraint of assessments or of enforcement thereof. In general, particular grounds. Manner and amount of payment, refund or recovery back. Oh, you guys don't see that? Restraint of assessment or enforcement of thereof. Manner and amount of payment, refund of recovery back. Governmental liability predicted on fault when respect to make an enforcement of assessment. You see? Governmental liability predicted on fault with respect to make an enforcement of assessment. Estoppel and waiver. Estoppel and waiver operative against owner of property assessed generally. Conduct given rise to estoppel or waiver. Particular objections. Alrighty. Alrighty guys, hang tight there. I'll be right back in 1 second here. Alrighty, I think we're back on. Hey, Bill T, how's it going? Miguel, hello there. Tribe, hello there. Claudette, hello there. CP, hello there. And everybody else in the background. So So let's read through this then. This is the AMJUR 70A 2D. American Jurisprudence, Estoppel and Waiver. Alrighty. Estoppel and Waiver, Section D. Accessible. So definitions, let's get right into this then. Let's see here. Alrighty. Let's see this right here, section. Give me 1 second, guys. Alrighty. So definitions and distinctions, generally. Let's see. Special or local assessment, sometimes called special taxes, are imposed upon property within a limited area for the payment for a local improvement supposed to enhance the value of the property within the area. Although within limitations, the word assessment and tax have been employed simultaneously, they do not, as used in legal parlance, have the same meaning. While a special assessment is, in a sense, or speaking broadly, a tax or bears a likeness to a tax, or bears a likeness to a tax, it is a tax only in some sense that is a distribution of a burden that would otherwise be imposed on the public. Oh, wow. So it is a tax only in the sense that it is a distribution of a burden that will be otherwise imposed on the public. Clearly, however, a special or local assessment is not a tax in the sense of a tax to raise revenue for general governmental purposes, and it is not, in the constitutional sense, a tax at all. Damn! This is why they take this shit off the shelves, man. Look at, if I'm reading this correctly. However, a special or local assessment is not a tax in the sense of a tax to raise revenue for general governmental purposes, and is not, in the constitutional sense, a tax at all. But no, they're just saying, oh, you know, yeah, these taxes are not for the revenue of general government. No, this is for the revenue. We're, you know, paying for the schools, paying for the roads, paying for the people. Man, somebody else might construe this in a different way. Here, guys, take a clear screenshot. And let's see here. Chad says, so I learned something new today. If we look at all the debt clock, each citizen is in debt spending in federal. Well, some might believe it's, well, it's right here in the books, man. It's right here in the books. The term special tax zoom in. Alrighty. The term special tax may be, let me click on this tab right here. The term special tax may be used to mean a tax for raising revenue for a particular government purpose other than a local improvement, although sometimes it is used to mean an assessment to raise revenue to finance a local improvement. A special tax, as the term is used in statutes, it is sometimes held to mean an additional tax over and above the general tax. I might have to lower the screen. This gets a little confusing looking at two things, but I'm doing a reading for you guys. Nevertheless, it gets a little confusing looking, having a bright screen in the background while I'm looking at a book and the document reader is right in front of my face. So thus, in constructing an exemption from all taxation, state, county, well, let's start over. A special tax, as the term is used in statutes, is sometimes held to mean an additional tax over and above the general tax. Thus, in construing an exemption from all taxation, state, county, municipal, and special, it has been held that the word special did not apply to assessments for local improvements, but instead referred to a special taxes levied and collected after the matter of general taxes, such as roads, schools. This is heavy duty. An inheritance tax has been held to be a special tax affecting a special class. A special tax affecting a special class, and an income tax may be held to be a special tax. Blake versus Metropolitan. Now look at what we're going to right here. Special assessments. Alrighty, let's go to special assessments. Alrighty. Go ahead and put a peon in timeout. I put you in timeout, peon. I don't know what you're referring to, but if you elaborate. Here we're doing a educational tutorial tonight. We don't have time for assessor. So here we go. Special assessments, right? Are local burdens laid on property. That's cute. Made for a public purpose, but fixed in an amount once and for all time with reference to the special benefit which property derives from the cost of the project. Man, this is unbelievable how this stuff is in these books. This is why the employees at the museum didn't know what these books are at a law library, or not a law library, but the Harold Washington Law Library Museum, one of the biggest libraries in the world. And I asked them, hey, where's the jurisprudence here? And they had no idea. They had to Google it and had trouble finding it on Google. Or, they didn't know nothing about it. And look at what it's saying here. That's the reason why they're withholding these books. Special assessments are local burdens laid on property. It's a burden, local burden, laid on property made for a public purpose while they're taxed in the private. And they're calling them special assessments. made but fixed in the amount once for reference of special benefit, special privilege. That's neither here nor there, man. We're not going to do a complete reading on this. We're just going to skim through it. Just know that, I may scan these 40 pages. These might be about 40 pages. I might scan them, and in the near future we could view them in that way, right out the book, but there's updated shit online too, this is let's see, origin and development, who may exercise power, basis of power. Let's look at the basis of the power. Hey Jack, how's it cooking? Alrighty, basis of power. While special or local assessments are clearly distinguishable from taxes generally, they are in a certain sense taxes, and the making of special or local assessments is generally recognized to be an exercise of the taxing power rather than of the police power or the power of eminent domain. However, where the improvements such as sidewalks or sewers have relationship to public safety, health, or welfare, special assessments have been based directly on the police power. Such instances are for the most part. So, hey Justin, you don't want to talk of any substance? So here's what we'll do for you. Alrighty. Who may exercise power? Who may exercise power? The state legislator, subject to constitutional limitations. Subject to constitutional limitations, can generally exercise the power of assessment for public improvements. For public improvements, although there is authority to effect the local improvements and the collection of cost, therefore, by special assessments and municipal affairs. Collection of cost, therefore, by special assessment and municipal affairs, and that the power of assessment cannot be exercised by the legislator except through the intervention of the municipal corporation. While municipal corporations are generally held to have no inherent power to levy special or local assessments, it is universally recognized that the legislator may delegate the power of special assessment for public improvements to municipal corporations and to political or administrative subdivisions of the state, and that it may select or create new governmental agencies and delegate them the power to make special assessments for the benefit of lands located in a specified area. The legislator may grant to the public corporation or authority Are we talking interlopers just arrived? A peon from the left side and a peon out of the right tree branch. have to do with interloper? Alrighty. Corporation or authority to impose an assessment. So let's read that portion again. The legislator may grant to a public corporation or authority the power to impose an assessment. Good. Good. The legislator may also authorize a nonprofit association to levy maintenance assessments against lots where the ownership of such lots entities the owner to use entitles the owner to use and enjoy properties controlled by the association. The power to levy special assessments is a continuing power in municipality or district to which it has been delegated, and it is, unless restricted by law, not exhausted by being once exercised. Limitation of power. Limitation of power. Chad, who did I put in timeout? No, Chad, I didn't put you in timeout. I put Peon, JT. I put JT out. He does it better than Tribe. What are you referring to, Jack? Oh, Chad, you got put in timeout? No, I don't believe I put you in timeout. It might have been an error, bro. How long did it say you went in a timeout for? Alrighty. But I should put you in timeout for not starting a channel yet. No. Still, no, I didn't put you in a timeout. I thought you meant to put him in a timeout. Well, anyway, Section 8, limitations on power. Constitutional limitations upon the power of the legislator to levy taxes do not restrict its powers to authorize municipalities to impose special assessment for local improvements. But a power to tax delegated to a local authority does not in itself confer to the power to levy special assessments for local improvements. Again, I might have to read this over. This is not legal advice. The legislative power to determine the boundaries of districts to be assessed for the cost of the construction of local improvements may also be constitutionally delegated to municipal corporations. Since assessments proceedings may ultimately result in taking from the owner his property. So since assessment proceedings may ultimately result in the taking of the property, a court in constructing delegated power to make special assessment for public improvement applies the rule that only such powers are conferred as are clearly comprehended within the words of the act, or are included therein. Included therein by necessary implications, any fair, reasonable doubt as the existence of the power is resolved against it. Any action beyond the terms of a statute granting the power to assess is ultra vires and renders the assessment invalid. Man, I have to read this again. Or are included. So let's read this. Since assessment proceedings, we're going to start it again from here. Guys, hit the thumb up, please. Since assessment proceedings may ultimately result in taking from the owner his property, a court, in construing a delegated power to make a special assessment for the public improvement, applies that the rule that only such powers are conferred as are clearly comprehended with the word of this act, or are included therein by necessary implication, any fair reasonable doubt as to the existence of the power is resolved against it. Any action beyond the terms of a statute granting the power to assess ultra vires and renders the assessment invalid. However, the clearly expressed legislative purpose must be given effect within constitutional limitations with respect both to the express delegation of power of special and local assessments and the identical and irreferential power necessary to carry the express power into effect. Well, like I said, this is not legal advice. Do more reading at home. Let's go ahead and continue here. Teresa's on site. Yeah, let's look that up. Ultra vires. Well, here's from Webster.com. The meaning of ultra vires is beyond the scope or in excess of legal power or authority. Alrighty, but we might have to look through the hardcover Black's Law. Let's go ahead and continue here. Oh, this is cute. Constitutionality. A special or local assessment for a public improvement does not itself constitute a taking of private property without due process of law, or a denial of equal protection of laws, unless the assessment exceeds the special benefit to the property assessed. But special assessments and legislation relating thereto are subject, of course, to constitutional provisions expressly governing them, and are likewise subject to force and effect of constitutional provisions as to personal, civil, and property rights. They are, for example, subject to constitutional provisions against deprivation of property without due process of law, and a special assessment for a public improvement if it is, what's this? Palpably arbitrary. Let's look that up. Palpably arbitrary. Alright, this is used in statutory interpretation to determine the purpose of a law and how to apply it to the needs of society. So, if it is palpably arbitrary, okay, falls within the condemnation of such a constitutional provision. Condemnation. Society. That's neither here nor there. 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 Got the mosquito. The exaction. The exaction. Let's read some of these comments. Hey, which one are you referring to there, Jack? Isn't that or is that from a movie or something? Okay. Alrighty. The exaction of assessment of benefits against property which there was no power to impose is an unconstitutional taking of property without due process. Also, special or local assessments are subject to constitutional requirements as to equal protection of the laws and uniform, although they are generally held not to be subject to the provisions as to uniformity of taxation, uniformity of taxation, and assessment exceeding the cost of the improvements. So as to finish revenue to the municipality making the assessment would violate the principle of equality implied in a state constitution, which provides that all property shall be taxed in proportion to its value. However, it has been held that a constitutional provision that no monies arising from a tax levied for well, let me look at the book again. However, it has been held that a constitutional provision that no monies arising from a tax levied for one purpose shall be used for any other purpose does not apply to assessment for local improvements, and the delegation of the power to impose a special assessment to the corporation organized to construct public improvements does not run afoul to a constitutional provision prohibiting the delegation of the power to levy taxes to a private corporation. The limitation upon the power of assessment imposed by constitutional quarantine of the inviolability of private property relates not only as to the amount of an assessment, which cannot exceed benefits conferred, but also to the purpose for which an assessment can be made. Like I said, I might have to read this over a few times. Yep. Impairment of contracts, time of assessments, number of improvements for which assessments are made, units of property assessed, value of property assessed, generally awesome, majorly awesome. I like the word run a fool. Yeah, we gotta look that up, Teresa. Thank you for looking the stuff up and taking note. Limitation to non-jurisdictional defects. Limitations and non-jurisdictional defects. Curative legislation relating to special or local assessments cannot cure constitutional and jurisdictional infirmities. Constitutional and jurisdictional, already, a legislator may legalize by curative acts which with what it might previously have ordered, but retrospective legislation cannot cure a fundamental want of authority in the assessing body, a jurisdictional defect in the assessment proceeding, or entirely void assessment proceedings, under the rule that a legislator can do what it could have originally ordered. A legislator may dispense with immaterial requirements if so it had the power to do so in the first instance, or cure a failure to give a notice of an assessment by enacting curative legislation if the legislator had the power to levy the assessment itself in the first instance without giving the property owners notice and a right to a hearing. It has been held that since the legislator can lay an assessment without the consent of the property owners, an assessment which is levied without the consent of a majority of the owners can be cured by subsequent legislative act. But the monkeys are asleep. Everybody's asleep. However, other courts have held that statutory prerequisite of consent of taxpayers to be jurisdictional, so that curative legislation is of no avail. Huh. Alrighty. Constitutional limitations. Curative legislation must not violate constitutional limitations applicable to legislation relating to special assessments generally. Such curative legislation may be ineffective, for example, because it is violation of constitutional provisions relating to the form of the assessment, or because it is violative of provisions as to local special laws, such as curative legislation generally cannot interfere without interventing rights. But there is authority that if the legislative had the power to originally authorize the assessment, it can cure an irregular in levying it, even though a right of action which have been vested is an individual is thereby divested. Hey, Bill T. Yeah, I'm looking forward for that, man. A slideshow. Hey, Jack. Collect all the document by the state and provide FOIA by the state. Yeah, FOIA database, Jack. FOIA database. I have the database. I just never really put it out there to the public. because there was a phase of, the people ain't really with it. You know what I'm talking about? If I want to put out some stuff like that, then there has to be at least participants that are starting to partake in the FOIA action. It's not like I'm just sitting here reading this just to read it. No, I want to read it to be informed, but I want also the people that are engaged with my channel to also be informed on like-minded things. C, hello there, C, from Canada. C for Canada. How you been, bot? Alrighty, let's see what else we got here. Benefit as public or private. Benefit as special and local or general and governmental. Benefit as immediate or future, certain, speculative. CC. Yep. Extent of special benefit. Determination of benefit, market value, comparisons. Determination of benefit. Whether and to what extent property sought to be assessed has been benefited by an improvement is question of fact, legislative or administrative rather than judicial in character. Legislative and administrative rather than judicial in character, and the determination of such question by the legislator or by the body authorized to act in the premises is conclusive on property owners and on the courts unless it is probably arbitrary or grossly unequal and what's this? Confiscatory, in which case judicial relief may be held against its enforcement. Such legislative or administrative determination can be assailed under the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution, where the legislative action is arbitrarily and by reason of its arbitrary character and confiscation of particular property. Alrighty. Waukegan. So sewers and sewer systems, water and water pipes, lighting systems, parks, offset parking, levees, flood protection. Levees, flood protection. Yeah, we gotta do levees. We gotta levy tax money for flood protection. Bridges and viaducts, rivers and waterways, street improvements, widening of the streets, widening of streets. Yeah, this is probably about 40 pages here, about 50 pages. Sidewalk, sprinkling and cleaning. Sprinkling and cleaning. Alrighty. Landscaping of streets, parkways, boulevards, and the like. Conversion of street to public mall. Railroad repair. reconstruction. Alrighty. Effect of exemption from taxation. Huh. Hey, Joe Coe. Joe Coe. There's Joe Cool and there's Joe Coe. Joe Coe, what up, though? Effect of exemptions from taxation. It is a general rule to which there are few exceptions that a constitutional or statutory exemption from taxation is to be taken as an exemption from ordinary taxes only, and does not include special assessments for local improvements. The reason for the rule grows out of general policy of the law by which all kinds of property are required to contribute proportionately to support of the government. Whenever, therefore, an absolute exemption to the support of government exemption is claimed under a statute in favor of anyone in respect to any kind of property, its scope and operation will be limited to express words of the statute and to the statute and to which it is necessarily implied, from which such words the rule has been applied with respect to special and local assessments, including the public railroads, religious. Alrighty. There's an observation here. If you guys like to read through it, take a screenshot. This is just a quick synopsis. If you guys want full readings, go subscribe to the Tribe channel. He focuses on Amjur, and he does full readings with definitions and, you know, in-depth breakdowns. He's going to transition from doing the computer readings to a few hardcovers here and there. But at the same time, we need more people out there to audit them as well. We need Jack to start picking up a couple utensils. The law is for the people that need it because they blind to Jesus. Alrighty. Personal property. Guess we could read a couple more. Power denied. Power denied. Power denied. While some jurisdictions recognize the power of an assessing authority to make a contract to exempt property from assessments, there are a number of states in which it is held that, in the absence of a specific statute so authorizing, a municipality or similar asserting authority does not have the power to agree to exempt or release a property from special assessment. Among the reasons stated most frequently for the denial of a power are of the following. The powers of a municipal corporation are dependent upon express statutory authority. A municipality, alright, yada yada, you folks could read that on your own time. Personal property. As a general rule, only real property is considered in proportioning a special or local assessment. It has been said that one of the cardinal rules for special assessments is that they can be levied only on real estate, although there is some older authority to the contrary. Real property. That's cute. In support of the general rule, it is said that personal property can receive no special benefit from a public or local improvement. That's a good one. And a special benefit securing only to the land on which it is situated, or that the owner of the personal property. On the other hand, The fact that a statute permits the taxation of other than real property for the purposes of improvement have been held not to affect its constitutionality. Well. Leasehold Indian lands. Affect state property, property of federal government, municipal property, county property. This is some good shit. County property, municipal property. We might have to read this at a later time. No problem. Nope, no problem. Under statute specifically imposing liability on schools, property not used for educational purposes. Under statute specifically exempting schools, charitable organizations, religious institutions. Let's see, religious. Property used for religious purposes is subject to local assessments unless specifically exempt therefrom and is not revealed or relieved from liability by a statutory exemption from local taxation. However, an express exemption from special or local assessments is sometimes made by the statute in favor of the property of a religious organization. Upon statute. Yep, right of way. Railroad. Indian lands, yeah. Well, this book is from this book I think is from the 90s. Shit. Oh no, 1987. Oh, we're taking these off the shelves because they're old books. They stopped making them. It's new, value of property assessed, benefit to property. Yeah, area of property assessed. Alrighty, anyhow. This goes on. And it's not a... Well, it started at 11:15, page 11:15, so... No, it's probably a good 150 to... Yeah, about... Oh, wow. No. This is about 300 pages, guys. 200. This is about 200 pages here. Yeah, this is about 200 pages. We'll probably look further into it at a later time. There were some things that caught my attention here, and I'll make sure to definitely review this again at a later time. Thank you guys all for coming in here. This is again a reading. This is Amjur 2D. Social Security. Well, we read the special or local assessments tab, and we just reviewed some of it. We skimmed through it, and hopefully you gained a bit of info in here. And until the next time, the one who encourages you to